Hello, my name is Jessica Manos, and I'm going to show you how to build a computer. Building a computer is really an important practical skill for you to learn because in this modern day era, computers are everywhere we go. Building a computer is cost efficient and allows you the added flexibility to find higher quality parts whenever you need so, even when you're done finishing. Also, why wait for tech support when you could be the tech support? There are 9 components for a computer, and also 9 steps. Yeah. One is the case. You're gonna need your case. Second is the power supply. The power supply is located at the bottom of the case. Normally, you want to put the cables onto the power supply first before inserting it in because there's not as much space for it, and it's gonna be really tight, and you really don't want to hurt your hands like I done. Yeah. Also, make sure that when you're going through watching this video and you're learning about the parts and the steps for this, you want to make sure that all your parts are compatible with each other, like the CPU and the motherboard. Some are Intel based and some are AMD based, so you have to pick a side, or Radeon as well. So bear in mind that. Make sure they're all compatible. Step 2 is the CPU. CPU is like this square metallic piece that sits on to the motherboard, a bigger rectangular piece. This one is the mini ATX version. But on how to put it into the motherboard is that it has a golden triangle on one of the sides. You're gonna want to align it to the motherboard's golden triangle in the center. You gently drop it until it sits. You push it a little bit while you're also closing a little hatch to secure it safely. Next off is the RAM. This motherboard has 2 slots for the RAM. Put it gently closer. Has 2 slots for the RAM, and they're located here. I could just put it 1 and 2, but if it has 4 slots like modern day computers, you're gonna want to put it on the 2nd slot and then the 4th slot, and then you have for those 2 RAMs. But if you have more RAM, then you have to put it on the 1st slot and the 3rd slot after you put it on the 2nd and the 4th. This way, because those are sets. 2nd goes 1st, and then the 4th goes 2nd. The 1st one is the 3rd, and the 3rd one is the 4th. Not to confuse. Make sure they're compatible too for your motherboard. For the motherboard, you want to apply to the standoffs first. This one is the mini one, so it has 3 to 4. Standoffs are like screws. You put it onto the case first, and then the motherboard. Make sure you don't tie it too safely. I mean, too hard. So motherboard and then the standoffs. So and not too hard, so it stays in place and doesn't fall. For the CPU cooler, you can always buy your thermal paste. Thermal paste is like glue, but for computers. It's safe that way. They look like this. And to apply it, you want to put it on top of your CPU. You put only a small grain of rice, like a small drop, so that when you place your CPU, it'll smush and spread nice evenly. If you buy your CPU your CPU paste, it'll spread. You could get like a little spatula spoon, and you could gently even it out, but you don't have to. Some come with it. Some CPU coolers also come with it by default. Next is the graphics card. It goes directly onto this rectangular slot. You push it in, and you attach it safely if it fits. If it doesn't, then you have to take up a little space here, and then you do it. Next is the storage space. It goes onto the back or on top or whatever. You look at the case manual. You plug it in. You put it in. There's 2 L-shaped connectors, one for power and one for data from the power supply, and for data for the motherboard. You connect it and it should be good. Make sure everything is right. Before you turn it on, make sure everything's connected. Then you flip on the switch and then you put the power supply. It's important.